Are you thinking about getting a dog and you're contemplating on whether it's a good idea or a bad idea? Well, maybe some of the thoughts that I have about getting a dog will help you make that decision. Hi, I'm Steve. Welcome to the channel. I'm going to start off with in the mornings, you'll need to, when you get up, you'll have to get up and they'll come and get you to take them out and take them for their walk. And you'll need to walk, like I have 2 acres where if I want to take them out for a walk, I walk the property. Let them do their thing. Then I have to make sure I clean up their mess so we don't track it around if it happened to step on anything, but you just got to make sure you clean up after them and get their exercise. Like I live on a main highway, so I can't just leave the dog roam. I either have to walk her or put her on a cable because we don't have a fenced in yard right now. It's something that we can't afford. We just purchased the house about a year ago, and it's just something we haven't done yet. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do it yet because the dog, she's already 9 years old and probably going to be our last dogs because I'm almost 65 years old and the dogs seem to restrict you quite a bit. So I don't know that we're going to get another dog. But going on with that, on the care of the dog, then you have to, after you've taken them out and gave them their exercise and hung out with them, you need to bring them in and you need to feed them and water them, fresh water. Dogs love to drink a lot of fresh water. And so you also have to think about when you're going to take them out to go to the bathroom or whatever. You need to, the weather is one thing you have to consider. Where do you live in a state where there's a lot of snow? I live in Michigan. So in the wintertime, we have lots of snow and ice and it's cold and dogs don't like going out in it that much, so you have to make sure they go out and get their exercise even when there's snow on the ground. The one dog we have is a pug. She's short, and so I have to make sure I have a spot in the yard shoveled for her to go to the bathroom where she won't go out and go in it. She'll go right in the middle of your sidewalk if she'll go wherever she can that there's not deep snow. So you got to consider that. So are you going to be able to keep an area clean? Physically, are you going to be able to take and make sure the dog has a place to go? So then you also have to consider, after the cleanup, you gotta, you hang out with your dog, you spend some time with it and you love on your dog. And then you gotta think, okay, am I going to be able to afford to feed the dog? I mean, I know with our dogs, it costs anywhere between $50 and $100 a month to a month and a half to feed and get their treats. And, you got to get them a toy every now and again, chew bones and dog beds for them to lay on and, just all kinds of different expenses. Then you have to also think about the expense of if the dog gets sick. Something happens to the dog, we have to take to the vet. Veterinary bills are, veterinarians aren't cheap. It could cost you thousands of dollars just for something fairly minor. They're as bad as cost of living or the cost of health care for people. It's just, you got to consider that. Can you afford that? And then you got to consider if it does get sick, and even if you can afford the vet bills, can you take care of it when it comes home? Are you going to be capable of taking care of it, doing what you need to do to bring it back to health? It's just stuff you have to consider. And the cost of feeding them, the vet bills. If you're on a fixed income, if you're a senior on a fixed income, you got to consider, can you afford all that? And also the cost of just purchasing the dog. Even if you get a dog that is someone's just giving away, you still have to take it to the vet and have the pay for the bills to have it checked over and get shots that it might need. So it's just a lot of consideration for the health of the dog. And then you have to consider, all right, what if your health is your health going to be good enough to take care of the dog? You know, dogs live 10, 15, 20 years old, depending on the dog sometimes. You know, if you're already 70 years old, are you going to be able to take care of that dog when you're 80 years old or 85 years old? So it's just something else you have to consider there. I've had lots of dogs over the years, you know, ever since I was a kid. Had a little Sparky. He was a little Jack Russell. He was a pistol. He didn't like staying in his little, had an electric collar where it'd zap him if he went through it, and that didn't bother him a bit. You know, and then he ended up biting my son in the face. You know, it was just an accident little thing, but it didn't hurt him or not. Just pinched him a little bit in the face, but it was something we didn't want to have happen, and it could happen again, so we had to give him away. And then we had a chocolate lab that she lived probably 14 years. She was a good dog. Boy, a good dog. She loved to go camping with us, and her batteries one time, we lived on a little lake, and the batteries on her collar went dead one time, and we didn't know it, and we were out on the pontoon fishing, and all of a sudden here's Diamond at the edge of the lake, you know, and we called her, said, Diamond, what are you doing? Why don't you? So she jumped in the water and swam out to the pontoon. You know, they just like to be with you. And there's another thing you have to consider. They're a little restricting on, can you take it on vacation with you? Do you want to take it on vacation with you? Is the place you're going to let you have pets or dogs with you? And if you can't take it, then you have to find a dog sitter. Can you afford to have it taken care of while you're gone? Or you have to put it in a kennel for the week or two you're gone. It's just more expenses. Can you afford that? You know, there's so many people nowadays that drives me crazy. They feel they need to take their dog every place they go. You can go to a picnic in the summertime, and if there's 100 people there, 20 of them might have their dogs with them, and so then their dogs want to all get in fights. You know, just these younger people feel that they want to take their dogs with them every place they go. And I can understand that. They're part of the family, but you got to take into consideration and respect where you're going with the dog. So there's just a lot of things you have to do to consider when you get a dog. So whether it's a good or a bad choice, I hope the information that I've given you on how it is for me taking care of my dogs will help you decide on whether you want to get a dog or not. So if the information is helpful to you, give the video a like and a share, and subscribe to the channel, and I appreciate it, and we'll catch you on the next one.